Welcome back, everyone. We're going to start with block 3, which is about hydrogen. And first of all, I'm going to introduce a colleague of mine, Madis Raukas. He's the head of the Department of Applied Research at Enterprise Estonia, or better known as AIS for you lot here in Estonia. Come on to the stage, Madis, and let's see if we can
the presentation, yeah?
Start your presentation here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Madis Raukas. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for inviting me. I understand I have 10 minutes to explain what we do and then convince everybody to use hydrogen and green energy and do the revolution, basically. So no big deal. We'll start. We follow a certain strategy which is quite familiar to you. It's TAIE in Estonian, but it basically is an R&D, innovation and entrepreneurship strategy, and it has, in terms of technology, 4 main domains that we should follow, and these are familiar also, I guess, for most of the listeners, I guess. ICT, digital, local resource utilization, materials technologies, bio and health, and then sustainable energy solutions. The 5th one is not so much of an interest to us, but we also keep that in mind, certainly for applications. So what we do is we mostly advise companies. That's our primary task. We tell what we know. We have a group of experts. That's on the next slide. We explain what we think of the proposals coming in. We advise where to find collaboration partners, which universities to collaborate with. The people who are employed, my colleagues, are experts, each in their own field. They have good schooling, they have long hours in the lab, hands-on practical experience with technologies that they have worked on. And now they are advising Estonian entrepreneurs. So welcome, come talk to us, and we may be able to do something for you if you're thinking of the next generation product or a new service or something like that. What else do we do is we advance the program. We want to make it more visible, we want to make it more usable, we want to make it, advance it towards what we call an RTO, Research Technology Organization, that would be able to help you actually hands-on work on the projects. Most of the European countries have such institutions. Estonia doesn't so far. So let's see what comes of it. It's right now in the feasibility study phase and it's happening. But the way we develop program is quite intuitive. We have done a lot of mapping last year, a lot of understanding what's available, what's there in terms of R&D, what happens at the universities, who does what, where do the people come from, and so on and so forth. And as I said, we have a bunch of experts at game. We are using external experts to review the applications before they go into funding committee that then makes a decision finally and hands out a requested amount of money to carry out the projects. We use external consulting, we use obviously internal. Enterprise Estonia has tremendous amount of business expertise, and that's what we rely on. This is what our track record looks like. The program was launched in 21, and since then we have distributed to the tune of 40-something million last year, and this year, the last round that ended in September now, distributed almost 19 million euros to the R&D projects of Estonian companies. Any company can apply, doesn't matter how old, how small, how big, and with the advice from us, we try to get together a proposal that will then go into the competition and gets evaluated and either funded or not funded. So this year there was a funding for 27 companies, which I am actually going to talk some of them, and specific focus on green projects. So we are getting closer to the content now. So this was the background. As I mentioned, we had 55 projects total, 27 got funded, 18.9 was the total funding, going to these projects of very different size, 180,000 to 2 million, and quite a number of them in green sustainability, environmental, and so on topics. Quite a notable amount, and that was the intent of this funding round, to pull up these kind of projects. Then, what is it that I would like to really focus on? The ones in the red here on the screen are our champions, so to speak. These are the companies that got funded for some really good ideas that they put forward and submitted, and will work on those projects now for the next 2 to 3 years. We have a lot of interesting ideas that came in different domains. The top part of this slide on the upper left shows what kind of TAIE or the R&D focus areas they belong to. There weren't too many in energy solutions, or sustainable energy solutions, but 4 out of 5 got funded. Resource utilization, materials, also more than 50% got funded, and then a little bit less in the ICT digital solutions and the bio and health. So the ones in the sustainable development, which I want you to consider as for your next production process or for your next product, I've arbitrarily divided them into 4 categories here. So the first one that was notably large was anything related to food, traditional Estonian material and resource. Vegetane, Vegestar, Gelatex, Andrei Juustufarm, Kasevete Kohin, Bugbox, these are the names that actually work a lot on plant-based food substitution, plant-based substances that actually you can make sausages out of and steaks and so on and so forth. Very interesting and actually good food, by the way. Very innovative as well. Sustainable energy solutions, you see the companies like Fermi Energia, Eesti Energia, Power Up Fuel Cells. Not so many. If the first one, as the name might tell to some, is working on atomic nuclear power. The power plant possibly fitting into Estonian landscape, and their feasibility study was basically there to just find out whether it does or does not. Eesti Energia and Power Up Fuel Cells are more on the energy accumulation. Eesti Energia on the hydro pumping stations, and also large accu batteries, banks to store the energy. Power Up Fuel Cells does what the name says. They're working on innovative small fuel cell batteries that can actually power up different applications. In terms of resource utilizations, the companies Raiku Packaging, Kerogen, Upcatalyst, RS Osa, and Biotatech, all different and very good projects as well. Different materials, different natural resources. Raiku Packaging is working on a new generation of gas-based packaging, and perhaps to bring another one, RS Osa, making calcium carbonate out of the oil shale ash, using all these huge mountains of ash in Ida-Virumaa. And the last one is the light code for the digital solutions, a bunch of good projects again from the engineering domain, digital domains, Skeleton included, G-Scan, 2 boating-related projects, Estonian Baltic workboats and Bifrost Dog, all very innovative. So these are the companies that have actually taken that step and gone into pretty heavy core R&D. And fuel cells here, and now we get to the hydrogen, is the one, power-up fuel cells is the one that uses hydrogen, obviously, in their devices, in their systems. This is the only one in this round that got funded, actually, that is directly related to hydrogen. There were several more hydrogen-related proposals, but did not get finally funded. And this one, I think, is my last slide. As far as I know, there are 3 Estonian companies competing right now for IPSA. IPSA is the important projects of common European interest, for those who haven't heard that acronym before. So these are the projects that are associated with some aspect of the value chain related to hydrogen. And Estonia is one of the 15 countries that has funded this initiative that extends to about 5.4 billion euros of public money plus estimated 8.8 in private. So it's a huge undertaking, and the sums, the volumes of the projects that we talk about here are extending into tens of millions or in total maybe 100 millions or more for the Estonian participants. But definitely it's something that we keep an eye on, and we consider hydrogen devices, hydrogen technologies, hydrogen economy rather important or quite important for our future. So it's, as a matter of fact, one of the, let's say, 5 topics that the Applied Research Program of Enterprise Estonia would like to keep their eye on and maybe support in the future more substantially. We'll see how it goes. Right now, it's in the feasibility study phase. And I think that's all for me. So thank you.